guys, this is Eddie with Player 2 Gaming with
Jordan
and Chris,
and over audio,
Diego.
Okay, because he's in LA. And anyways,
Yeah.
Here is our big Player 2 Talk E3 edition. If you're watching on YouTube, you're going to be seeing part 1 of this right now. And if you're on our SoundCloud, which we just made, then sit comfy because it's going to be a while. Anyways, so we're probably just going to start, I think, with just overall thoughts on the conference. So what did you think of this E3 overall, Chris?
I mean, I feel like a lot of it was a lot of like expected things, but a lot of it was a good expected things. Bethesda came out swinging, starting out at the beginning. Microsoft, Sony didn't disappoint. Nintendo did their own thing. A lot of it was just like, oh yeah, we kind of all knew some of this was happening, but there were little bits of surprises thrown in. So overall, I thought it was pretty good, entertaining.
Yeah, I think that a lot of it was expected, but I was surprised at how good some of the expected stuff was, maybe. Because goddamn, Battlefront, geez,
yeah.
Seeing that in action for the first time, seeing Fallout in action, honestly, one of the better ones that I can remember in recent memory. For me personally.
Diego, what did you think of this E3 so far? Or yes, I guess.
I mean, from what I saw, I can kind of agree. Like most of the stuff, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna see more of this at E3." But then, once again, seeing it actually in action was different, and I think it's also kind of a little bit hard to top in terms of actual excitement because obviously last year, that was last year, right? Damn, the consoles. So I mean,
yeah. Or
in terms of
ago.
scope, I think maybe not so much, but it was still exciting. It's just it's hard to top a new console generation.
Now, for me, actually, I think personally this was actually my favorite E3 in recent memory. For me, actually, even more so than E3 2013, which was the new consoles, because I just really loved the games that were shown. Something that you had actually mentioned when we were watching, I think Microsoft, was, damn, this is the E3 that next gen is hitting its stride. Yeah. We have the new consoles established. Now developers are showing what they can do with it.
I totally think that's true.
Yeah, and I loved this E3. I thought it was great. I loved the games that were shown. There was, for me, some big surprises. And just what everybody else said, seeing some of these games that we haven't seen in action yet, seeing the gameplay for the first time was awesome. Awesome. Like Doom, Fallout, those games.
Last
Guardian. Seeing gameplay it was awesome. So, moving on, I think I wanted to go into, if you guys could probably name your favorite conference, favorite game, and then biggest surprise, whether it's an announcement or a game that you weren't expecting to be as cool as it was.
Right.
What would you say?
My bias is telling me
my
favorite conference was Bethesda. But if I was going to say best conference, I'd actually probably have to give it to Sony because of just they covered a lot of bases. That was really cool. Favorite game, Fallout 4. I think that's probably going to be across the board, maybe. Fallout close second by Battlefront, actually.
Yeah, Battlefront was great.
Freaking great. Biggest surprise for me, I have kind of two. One is that when I saw Doom, I was surprised at how actually good it was.
Yeah.
That was a cool surprise. And then, actually, another cool surprise for me was Horizon, which was shown at Sony.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was a pleasant surprise for me. Obviously, we had Shenmue, but I'm not super into that. So
for me, I'd say my favorite and what I think the best conference was Sony. Don't get me wrong, I loved Bethesda, but just we didn't see a lot of games. Sony brought out a lot of great games. I had some problems with their conference, which we'll get into when we talk about Sony as a whole, but I thought the games that they brought out were awesome. If you noticed, a lot of the games they brought, they actually had gameplay. It wasn't just announcements, which I thought was great. And, I thought they brought a lot of stuff that we weren't expecting. My favorite game was Fallout 4. It just... I was expecting it to be awesome, but I wasn't expecting to see
so many features. I think
the features and everything. That was just incredible to me. The Fallout 4 was just great. Todd Howard did a great job showing that. And my biggest surprise, hands down, was Shenmue 3. Well, you saw my face when that came on. My jaw literally dropped. I was like, no way they're making this game. I actually never played Shenmue 1 and 2. I watched the Shenmue 1 movie that they did when Shenmue 2 came out. But I mean, the gravity of them announcing that game, even if it is this Kickstarter format, which Actually, it is getting funded by Sony. They just use that as a way to like gauge fan interest. But the fact that it's happening, that they were able to have Yu Suzuki come out and show the game, even just like the little tiny bit they had. I was like, I couldn't believe it. It was like insane for me. So that was definitely my biggest surprise. Followed closely by Final Fantasy VII Remake, because that's a big deal too.
Or you texting me saying like, they're bringing Shenmue back. Do you know how big this is? This is huge. Just like, calm down,
dude. I was freaking out,
please.
dude. I thought it was cool. Diego, what would you say would be like from what you? Because I know you saw most of all the conferences. So what would you say?
Yeah, I saw bits and pieces, but I'd say probably because I saw this like the entirety of it was probably Bethesda for my best and favorite conference because they brought a lot of stuff out, and I'm not really too big into their games, but it's kind of like putting me on the fence. So.
Yeah, well, and they did a good job with just the conference in general.
Yeah, it was really well done.
What'd you say your favorite game was? Or like, and then the biggest surprise?
Like, that's a tough one, dude. I guess my biggest surprise, it's not gonna, it's not gonna be anything you guys probably care about, but for me, it was Planet Coaster during the
during the
PC.
Yeah,
during the PC.
That did take me by surprise. Well, did you play Coaster Tycoon back in the day?
That's what I'm saying. It's because I, as a kid, I played Roller Coaster Tycoon 1 and Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. I sunk like thousands of hours into those games. So, seeing that franchise, not that franchise, but seeing that genre come back is, when I saw that trailer, the inner child in me was like, oh yes. So
that was
cool.
Like
really,
I remember seeing that.
That was something I really liked.
Yeah, favorite game is hard, dude. I agree with you.
Yeah, I don't know about favorite game. I'd have to leave that open, maybe.
All right, for sure. And then Chris, what would you say your out of those?
I mean, best conference, or in my favorite conference, I guess, it's toss-up between Bethesda and Sony. Bethesda showed me everything I wanted to see and more, and Sony just hit everything, like you all said. It's funny, we all sound like a bunch of broken records saying that. And then favorite game, I mean, I've been waiting for Fallout 4 ever since New Vegas came out, and I've been telling you guys, I'm like, guys, you realize that they've been making this ever since that. Like, they're not just starting.
Since
2009.
They literally started almost as soon as they released it. It's like, it's going to be a thing, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
But, surprises, Horizons really had me sitting there thinking, wow, this is a really good looking game that I want to get my hands on immediately. And also No Man's Sky.
The No Man's Sky, I'll get into what I thought about No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky, I think looks like a really good game that I would love. I was pleasantly surprised by that.
So those are kind of our thoughts overall on E3 this year. To get a little bit more into it, I guess we should just go by each conference and spend a little bit. Not really like, it's going to be an 8-hour podcast if we talk about them all in detail. But so far, with thoughts, no, I know I don't have time for that.